Ladies, gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Please be advised that this movie has no nudity.
I'm out.
Come on, Eddie. Let's go to the movies.
Yeah.
I just have to wee-wee.
And we're back.
Just like the Five Musketeers.
What the hell am I looking at?
A country where culture means pornography and slasher films.
If you had these boobs, you'd be obsessed with them too.
Very exciting, big event. Everybody's excited, huh?
Last time I went to the pictures, I was looking at all the jiglins. And...
We hope you'll make this a weekly visit. Bring the family. Bring your friends.
Are you ready to continue the fun and laughter and horror and screams?
Let's do it.
Yes. Yeah!
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for our next episode and to talk about, what are we talking about?
We're talking about Hordies!
Hordies with more geektoids.
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 All right, well, let's jump right back into what we are talking about. Roman, is there anything that we missed before going farther into the timeline?
Another film that we glanced over, Cabin in the Woods.
Okay, yes. I can talk the crap out of Cabin in the Woods.
You're
Holy
good.
crap.
We're good. No. Oh, she's doing the sad puppy dog face, please.
No, really, I mean, we don't have to talk the crap out of it, but that is a movie that I've seen multiple times. When I saw that movie, I was blown away by that film. That movie is one of the most genius horror movies that has ever been made outside of Scream.
And it's weird because it was delayed when it came out, too.
Yeah.
Why was it delayed?
I have no idea, but I remember because
something happened. Something happened within the news, whether it was a school shooting or something big happened.
Something violent.
Something very violent that has to do with teenagers. And they're like, let's not put this out because there's a lot of school shootings in the movie. I don't know.
No, there's no school shootings.
I'm being funny. Apparently, it's not funny. I'm being facetious.
Because Chris Hemsworth is way younger in this movie than he was in Thor.
Yeah, that's one of his first roles.
Yeah.
First American roles, yes.
Yeah, but, I mean, that movie was just so brilliant. And again, it flipped its head just like Scream did, where you're like, oh, okay, somebody's running this. They're running.
It's on purpose.
Yeah.
The thing that I love about that film is after I watched it, because at first, the first part of the film, the first segment, the first act, I'm thinking, okay, this is stupid. What am I doing watching this, etc., etc. And then once we get to the meat and potatoes and start seeing like the behind the scene actors, if you will, with the society that's setting up this whole.
It's called The Facility.
The Facility.
With Bradley Whitford and the dad from Step Brothers.
Yes. Well, every time I see Bradley Whitford, I just think of him from Commando. It's like, yeah, that's right. You said I'll live, man. You said I'll live.
That's all right. I think of him from the bad. He was the bad guy in Revenge of the Nerds too.
I also think of him from Warriors
and West Wing.
Ooh, there you go.
And he was a bad guy in Get Out.
Yes.
What's up with him?
Seriously,
he's good at being an ass.
He is good.
Pretty much. He
except in West Wing, he was such a nice guy in West Wing.
Well,
one of the best shows on TV.
He seems like he's a very nice guy.
Was that Alan Sorkin?
It was, or it's Aaron Sorkin.
Aaron Sorkin.
It was almost as good as Newsroom.
Cool.
All right, so it looks like we're bringing back Channel Chasers, folks.
No, we're not. So yes, so then you were intrigued.
So A Few Good Men.
So you were intrigued by that movie once you saw what was happening underground.
Well, and then there's a scene where the characters basically have to choose their terror.
That's the best.
To them, and that's just basically a shout out to anyone that loves classic horror movies, modern horror movies, Hellraiser, things to that accordance.
Never read from the book.
Oh yeah, never Evil Dead right there.
Yeah.
And it's just fantastic in terms of how they flip it on its head. After I got done watching it, the very next thing that I did was watch it again, but this time kind of pieced together. It's like, oh, if they would have touched the trident, oh, it would have been Birdman.
Yeah. Right.
It would have been Birdman.
That would be cool if they did a director's cut where they showed other people touching or doing different things to let the other monsters out.
Or a prequel series.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Because you can't do a sequel.
No, you can't do a sequel.
Because spoiler alert, the world ends.
Weren't they talking about a sequel at some point? I remember Ballsy.
How's that going to work? The studio was.
With the Titans, but it wouldn't be as fun.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, you would just see Titans pissed off and walking.
There's no one else to eat.
Blur. All you had to do was sacrifice the virgin.
The virgin.
The geek. He just had to die and kill himself, but no, he didn't want to.
Yeah.
Blah.
And if
Sigourney Weaver was great in that.
She was.
Yeah.
If you know me at all, you know I'm a big Hellraiser fan.
Mm-hmm.
I have.
He
8.
likes to play with his box.
I have 8 of them. I have 8 of those damn boxes. I want the sphere from Cabin in the Woods.
Okay, yeah, the sphere, which is basically a ripoff of, and it makes no apologies.
No, not at all.
They have
they have a Cenobite character, like a pinhead, but he's saws through his face.
I've never heard that expression, Cenobite.
Cenobite, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's straight up from the film. Yeah, that's right. Now I remember. Geez, it's all coming back to me now. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a really cool scene when they're going in like the elevator and they see all the cubes and they walk up and he just slowly comes up when he's got it in his hand. I'm like, this is so fucking cool.
Oh man, I mean that film itself was just so fun, and it was also funny.
Yes,
right.
Hence the horrities. I mean, even in terms of just the ironic deaths, where
and speaking of Firefly, there is a Reaver in one of those boxes.
I don't know what a Reaver is.
They're the cannibalistic aliens from Firefly.
Never watched Firefly. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there you go, Firefly people. Watch Cabin in the Woods and shut up.
Because it was a Joss Whedon joint.
Sweden.
We don't
just
talk
Sweden?
about him.
No.
Just
Sweden.
Sweden. Hi.
It's just Sweden.
Now, also in the 2010s was another breakthrough movie.
Trick or Treat.
There's that. But
yeah.
That's
where I was going.
This has a super popular TV series still going on right now, and that's What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah. Was that in 2010? I thought it was in 2015.
It was 2010s.
Okay, yeah, because eventually I was going to run into that, where it was because I was going to hit What We Do in the Shadows, and because we posted on our Facebook page what movies make you think of horror-dies or horror comedies, and that was brought up. So I'm trying to do homage to anybody that actually took time to answer a question.
That's with Taika Waititi.
Yes.
Taika Waititi.
Which, that was hilarious.
Which he hates.
No, I don't. I actually like his work. I only hate one film.
He just hates his best movie.
No, it's not even close to his best movie.
No, it's not.
Oh, come on.
Planet Hulk. Oh, my heavens.
Planet Hulk.
Planet Hulk.
Planet Hulk.
That movie starred the little known female actor Planet Hulk.
Planet Hulk. Yeah.
Didn't she sing in the 90s?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. It was Paula Cole.
Where have all the cowboys gone?
They've gone to Planet Hulk.
There's a couple films we talked about What We Do in Shadows. If you haven't seen it, in my opinion, it's basically like watching B-reel footage in like The Office.
It's a mockumentary.
Yeah, mockumentary, and the TV series is great, by the way.
Yes,
I absolutely.
I've only watched the first season, and I need to catch up, but I absolutely love it.
I love the dry humor. It's great. I love the idea. What We Do in the Shadows is about vampires who are in the modern era, and you see their backstories, see who they were, how they become vampires. There's werewolves, which is great. You should really watch it.
Rhys Darby as the head of the werewolves. I love Rhys Darby so much.
Yeah, it really is a fun film. Allison, I can tell by your expression that you...
I've seen the movie. I don't really want to watch the show because it's probably like the movie. It's just too...
absolutely like the movie.
It's too dry for me.
And you like mockumentaries, which is weird for me.
Yeah, I know. Here's the thing that you're going to discover from me in this podcast.
I don't like anything.
3 years later.
I don't understand what either of those things meant, first of all.
We've been doing the podcast for 3 years.
Oh.
I was just being a dick.
I was talking about this particular episode.
I know. I can feel it against my skin.
I'm talking about this particular episode.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very picky on my horror. I like horror, but I don't like all horror. And if I'm very picky apparently from learning about this episode is I'm very picky on horror comedies. If it's too campy or too goofy, I don't want anything to do with it. I'll think it's stupid. If it has just enough in there and it still has the horror that I like and the violence or gore or scariness, then I'm good.
I can't wait to discuss 2020 with you.
Wow. So you don't like Trolls?
No.
Trolls 2?
I'd never even seen Trolls 2.
Oh my heavens.
You mean Troll? Trolls is a CG movie.
Oh yeah, Troll 2.
Oh, Troll 2.
Oh,
man.
Trolls, like the little people that make music? Like because I've seen those movies.
They're
he's talking about
eating
Troll and
people,
Troll 2.
and then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!
Yeah, no.
No, doesn't ring a bell.
That's the movie that got me started on riff tracks.
And that's the thing. I'll watch these movies if it has people making fun of it, but I can't take these movies seriously.
USA Up All Night with Gilbert
Up All
Godfrey
Night.
and the young lady whose name alludes
USA Up All Night.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Yeah.
See, mine was Monster Vision with Joe Bob Briggs, because
Okay.
it was all factoids or geektoids.
Or geektoids.
Geek toys. Yeah.
But I
yeah.
did watch Up All Night too when I was a kid.
Yeah.
No, you watched Up All Night.
Well, in Elvira, who basically just took what other people have done throughout the years.
Well, she's a monster TV host.
Yeah. And,
Just like Paul Bearer and Chiller Theater.
you know, there's two things about Elvira that I absolutely love.
The
Left
left
and the
one
right.
and the right one.
No, what? No, guys. Her intelligence and her smile. She has a
She just
beautiful
turned, what,
smile.
70?
70.
Yeah, she
Look
looks
at that.
great.
And NECA just announced her action figure.
Oh,
It
wow.
looks amazing.
I love those wafers.
Yeah.
Said nobody.
Tastes like chalk. Not that I know what
Anyway,
chalk tastes like, but
Well, you were a kindergartner. Everyone ate chalk.
clearly you've never
not
been
her,
to
not
communion.
me.
You've never.
Oh yeah, they taste like communion wafers.
Yeah.
Wafers. They taste like the host.
Anyways,
That's what the Catholics call the communion wafers.
Trick or treat.
The Catholics.
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat
Yes.
with a backwards R.
Trick or treat.
Not to be confused with Trick or Treat, which is a rock and roll horror movie from the 80s.
So those of you who know us, we are in Tampa, and they give a shout out to Tampa, basically Gasparilla. No, not Gasparilla, Guavaween.
Did they?
Yeah. When
I've seen this movie like 1,000 times.
yeah, with the werewolf girls, and they talk about basically doing the costume parties. Like, oh yeah, like that one party in Tampa.
I did not put that together because I don't do big gatherings.
Mama Guava. Well, yes, you do. You go to Halloween Horror Nights. That's a big gathering.
No, I don't do Gasparilla. I don't do Guavaween.
They don't do Guavaween anymore, do they? Down here, they stopped that, or was it just for COVID? I almost
Just for
called it
COVID.
COVID.
Oh, he's just for COVID.
Yeah,
Just for COVID.
Guavaween is a hot mess.
I did it once.
A bunch of people in costume
and I was
drinking.
I was against a wall most of the
Yeah,
night
Guavaween's no bueno.
because fuck Ybor.
Ybor City, for those of you who are not in our market, is basically just a party district where a lot of the bars and clubs are at.
If you've seen the Thomas Jane Punisher, it's Little Havana.
Yeah, little Havana, you belong back on the streets.
Because
Yes.
it is Little Havana, basically.
Yes,
It's a Cuban area.
That's yes,
It's
it
cool
is.
during the day,
Half-
but at
half of me
night it's
completely
not.
agrees. No, all I know of Guavaween is at one point, me being a single guy who's 6'2", I had some fairy on my shoulders because she wanted to carry. She was like a fairy of death. So she was goth. So she goes, "Hey, can I get on your shoulders?" I'm like, "Yes, please."
You're gonna say no to that.
No.
Because she wanted beads.
Yeah, she wanted beads. It was great. Any
adult who wants beads has a problem.
The only kind of beat. Never mind.
Again, if there's someone who looks like an extra from a Marilyn Manson video, you say yes.
Okay.
You say yes to that.
So going back to Trick or Treat.
Thank you for bringing me back.
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat. Now,
With
trick
our
or treat
good
basically.
friend Sam.
Yeah, it basically takes what we know from Creepshow and even Tales from the Crypt.
Oh yeah, it's an
Bordello
anthology
Blood.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bordello Blood's another great horror-y, by the way. Just saying. Oh, Demon Knight
both
as well.
of the Tales from the Crypt movies are. Yeah.
Demon Knight with
Forgot about both of them being horror comedies.
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane was the best character he's ever played in that movie.
One of my favorite villains of all time was Billy Zane.
Yep.
Yes. Vaya con Dios.
Vaya
con
con
Diablos to you too.
He was so hot in that movie. What year did that come out? 94?
That was 94, 95.
Okay.
It was around, yeah.
So
94.
I was able to sneak in that movie.
I did too.
And so Jen and I went and saw that movie, and I was just like, Billy Zane is so hot in this movie. I don't care that he's evil.
He has one of the best voices.
He does.
I knew that in The Phantom when he played the Phantom.
That was an awesome movie.
The Phantom?
Billy
Yes.
Zane is a very underrated actor.
He is. He's B movie fodder.
Yeah.
Even though he was in the most successful movie of all time.
Titanic. Oh, and he was so good in that movie.
Yeah, he was.
And he would have
he
been
was a
great in
jerk.
Dirty Dancing. Thank you very much, movie has made us.
Yes, it would have been
yeah.
Billy Zane. Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh yes. Who had?
If only Patrick Swayze would have died earlier.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh wow.
He was also in Zoolander.
Yes,
Playing himself.
as Billy Zane.
Thank you, Billy Zane.
He was in both of them.
Oh boy, I never saw the second one.
It was a movie.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Was it? Did,
It was
did it have a
fine.
beginning and an
No,
end?
no, I'm not saying it was bad, but it wasn't good either.
No,
it was just
wasn't.
it was a Zoolander movie.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're a fan of it, it's a fan.
It's a good first watch.
I'm first watch.
Oh,
I'm
I
hungry.
love breakfast.
Oh yeah. Boy, it's like we're related. Like, oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, if you could see the look that Allison is giving us, it's probably comparable to what you're giving us.
The microphone anymore.
Okay, so as we continue on, we're wrapping up pretty much our tour. Now,
Let's talk about Trick or Treat.
yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it because after that, I kind of want to do a quick pit stop to slice
To splurge?
to splurge. To Slice, which is a film that not a lot of people talk about, and I haven't even touched on Grabbers, by the way, which is a. Did you ever watch?
We've got a long time to go. Yeah, I've seen Grabbers. It was direct to DVD.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a break and.
Oh no, you would love Grabbers. Basically, how they fight aliens is by getting shit-faced drunk.
Yeah.
Oh,
Grabbers is great.
Hello.
Hello.
Come on.
Hello.
And not even talking about cooties.
Hello, and welcome to
kid's
Horror Phone.
Hello. Yes, press 1 if you want to talk about Grabbers.
Brought to you by 93.3 FLZ Weekend 44 News.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
I feel like Trick or Treat could have come out in the 90s or 80s and still been just as relevant and good.
Yes, absolutely.
It doesn't seem like it's a 2000s movie. It seems like an 80s movie.
It was a perfect blend of freaky...
It's timeless. It's absolutely timeless.
Freaky, thought-provoking, and funny.
And it's got Thurman Merman in it.
And Anna Paquin.
Anna Paquin.
Suki.
Anna Paquin.
Speaking of horror comedy, True Blood is a horror comedy, but that's a TV show. So
That's
we're
a
not
TV
gonna go.
show.
We're not doing Channel Chasers.
If you say Channel Chasers one more time.
Ever again.
Sorry.
And I don't think I said it like a hillbilly, but maybe I did.
No.
That's a TV show.
That's a TV show. Seats taken.
I'm Mike TV. Anyways, I'm on TV.
Am I coming in clear?
Yep.
Oh my.
Anyways,
That's
please.
a throwback to a future episode. What? We just keep talking about it and then go away.
No, we
I try,
We're
but then
not
some-
pregnant. We're not pregnant.
We try.
But then
Anyways.
somebody else just goes down another path.
Why are you looking at me?
I'm not. I'm looking at both of you. So.
I
Yes.
said Anna Paquin and you got all into Sookie.
You're right. My bad. Okay, Trick or Treat.
Please, Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat.
So Trick or Treat is
Trick or Treat.
multiple stories presented circa Creep Show, presented in a very interesting and thought-provoking way that's both funny and
A
terrifying.
little terrifying, yeah.
Yeah,
It's not bad candy, I'll tell you that.
You have you have basically the story that really makes it, and I alluded to this about 40 minutes ago when we talked about it. The werewolf sorority sisters.
Yes.
Oh man, that is just hilarious. Where they
Well, it's where it starts. It starts with them.
technically, I mean,
The movie starts with them trick or treating,
yeah, that
getting
is
ready
right.
for their
Guavowing.
their drive.
Example.
Yeah. They're not trick or treating. They're just on they're on the street. Well,
They're
that
on
sounds
the
bad.
prowl, and basically it's kind of like
They're
Dinner for
streetwalkers.
Losers, or
Yeah.
Dinner for Schmucks.
Dinner for schmucks. Yeah.
Where they find a guy and these guys think that they're scoring big with this gorgeous woman who has a thing for him or at least pity sex or whatever it might be, and they basically get sacrificed, kind of similar to the way that you saw vampires sacrifice a bunch of gang members in Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, except without sexy sax man playing in the background.
And Kiefer.
I still believe.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
as he's grinding shirtless with a saxophone.
The the whole thing, in my opinion, Sam, the character, is basically the spirit of Halloween.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Sam is this kid with a pumpkin head, pretty much.
he's a quote unquote kid. You don't know what he is.
Right.
But he has a pumpkin head. He puts it in a sack, and he has his sack, and he's there to celebrate Halloween. Halloween in its rawest form, in its purest form. he goes after people who he goes after Billy Corgan because of these Smashing Pumpkins. He goes after people who put poison in candy. He goes after people who
are dicks,
or just who are just mean in the vein of disrespecting Halloween.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like the protective spirit of Halloween in a very horror-esque manner, and that's what makes the character and the movie so great.
Yeah, it's funny. It's freaky. Speaking of another...
It's Friday.
Yeah. Yep.
I like his lollipop.
Yes.
He has a lollipop that's
bitten off, that's really sharp and will just slice
can be
you.
used as a
I didn't say it this
tool.
time.
Say what?
Slice?
No.
Lollipop?
I didn't say it this time. I'm not gonna.
Okay, fair counterpoint.
Okay.
I'm not going to tempt you.
Nope.
Krampus is another film.
Same
Believe it or not.
director.
Yeah,
David
really,
Gordon Green.
as Trick or Treat. Yeah, Krampus. If you
Not as good as Trick or Treat.
No, I was disappointed in Krampus.
it was interesting. It was a
It
good
was
popcorn
interesting.
John loves Krampus.
Maybe we should ask him why. Maybe he can convince us to like it, but I just expected a little bit more from Krampus.
Pick. It was a great horror comedy Christmas movie.
And it had Adam Scott in it. So
Yeah.
But I think I didn't like Krampus as much because I saw Trick or Treat first. And that's what I was expecting. I was expecting that caliber. And I think that's why John liked Krampus, because he never saw Trick or Treat.
Ah, that makes sense.
And then I showed him Trick or Treat, and he's like, yeah, this is going on my rotation for Halloween.
That
I'm like,
makes
yeah, of course
sense.
it is.
Okay, and the last one that I would like to enter into the list, I believe in 2018, maybe 2017, Slice. Basically is
My favorite citrus soda.
Yeah,
I don't remember Slice. I feel like I've watched it, but
I remember Suck. That was a good movie.
we're not talking about porn.
We're not talking about porn.
who is in Slice?
Slice, I will have to pull up the people list just to make sure that I'm not
Well, what was
embarrassing
Slice about?
It was a horror comedy in the same lengths of Final Girls, and when it first came out, I raved
You know what
about
I'm thinking about? I don't think I've seen this. I'm thinking of Slither.
I
Yes.
love Slip. That's another good horror comedy.
Yeah, it is.
Is that really funny though?
Yes, it's James Gunn.
I didn't think it was that funny.
It wasn't like comedy, haha funny. It was satirical funny. It was the
Yeah.
characters are this outlandish, especially like the mayor. He's like, I need my Mr. Pibb. It's the only Coke I drink.
Yeah, but maybe that's the difference. Is I don't find that as a comedy horror.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I consider it because it's so tongue in cheek. It's a tongue in cheek type of comedy. It's not written comedy.
the only part I remember about that movie is like the little slithers of things would like show up on the window of the train or something. Is The Faculty considered a horror comedy?
It is, yes.
It is today.
Man,
It is today.
Yeah. So basically, Slice is a werewolf type film. It's on the same vein.
A werewolf
as,
type film.
Yeah, on the same vein as Final Girls. When you just Google Slice movie plot, in a spooky small town, when a slew of pizza delivery boys are slain on the job, two daring survivors set out to catch the culprits behind the cryptic crime spree.
Well, that tells me nothing.
Yes, starring Chase the Rapper and the dude from
Chance
Chance
the
the
Rapper?
Rapper?
Yeah.
He's in Slice?
Yes, he is.
What does he do?
He's actually the main character. He's pretty badass.
No,
He's
I
actually
mean,
really good.
aside from being in this movie, what does
Well,
Chance the Rapper do?
He's
He
a great
raps.
rapper.
He takes the
It
chance
was
to
a
rap.
joke because that was his
Oh,
name,
and
Chance
he
the
has
Rapper.
he's on Kit Kat commercials or something too, I think.
He was great on SNL last year.
Yeah, he's good.
Paul Shear's
Paul
in it.
Scheer.
Paul Shear.
Joe Keery, the dude from Stranger Things. Chris Parnell's in it. He's actually really good.
I called up and said, "Hey, Parnes."
Yes.
Oh, I don't
Hannibal
think-
Buress is in it.
Oh, I love Hannibal Buress.
Yeah, I guess I
Yeah.
haven't seen this movie.
I saw
Guys,
him live.
I strongly encourage that we pause it, watch it, and then we'll come back at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, yes, let's do it.
All right.
I'm
Yeah.
out.
And why am I divorced? Well,
We watched Slice.
How did I gain 2 roommates in one night?
Slice happened.
Slice happened.
I have a love seat and this carpet.
I'll take carpet. I like carpet.
If you're looking for a hot podcast, I've got the one for you. The hottest podcast of the year is The Real Housewives of Reality, starring Scarlett and Allison. This podcast has everything. It's Girl Meets Girl, 2 Bravo-obsessed hosts, a producer named Leon, who knows what love is and is very often screamed at and or abused on the air, allegedly. Weekly recaps of all your favorite housewives, hot gossip, an unadulterated and inexplicable love of Iowa, deals on Mary Kay and BetterHealth.com, relationship advice if you want to stay single forever, and who doesn't. Plus, there's bonus material like the Bravo Booster Pack, which highlights the most iconic Bravo episodes through all the years, and housekeeping with the hottest gossip for you to listen to while you keep your own house, if you do. Hey, tune in. There's so much more. I said what I said.
So yeah, Chance the Rapper. I do strongly encourage you guys to watch it. If you like Final Girls, I think that you might actually enjoy this film.
I'll give it a watch. I haven't even heard of it. So
Slice, yeah, I remember Good Looking Guy bringing that up. I started it, and you know what? I might just do it on the streams with Roman and just talk about it. Fine.
Yeah. Around that time in the 2010s, there was also a vampire movie called Suck.
Okay.
Which was kind of a rock and roll vampire, not a parody, but it was very self-aware. And the only reason I wanted to see it was because it had one scene,
like Ginger Snaps.
It had one scene that had Alex Lifeson in it, the guitar player for Rush.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Was he a vampire?
No, he was a border guard. He was hilarious.
Did he get sucked?
I think he did.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really care much for the movie. I just wanted to say it because you said Slice, and I wanted to say Suck.
Well, did he say a line like his mind's not for rent?
No, he doesn't sing.
Ah,
Maybe he should.
We're not getting into that.
Slap the bass. Slap at the
Slap
bass.
into
Slap at the bass. You know, that movie is very accurate to when I went and saw Rush with my friend Brandon. We played and licked each other's basses throughout the entire... We knew every lyric. It was great. Anyway, moving on to the 2020s, if that is okay.
A year ago?
Yes. When movie theaters were reopening, I went and saw this movie made by the video game company Ubisoft. It was called Werewolves Within. I did a review on it
on Cinemadnesspodcast.com.
I did, and it is a fantastic horror comedy. I've been trying to get these two to watch it, and they won't. And just kidding.
Is it on a streaming service?
I think it is now. I think it's either on Hulu or Amazon.
I've definitely seen it at Redbox. I don't know if anybody goes to Redbox, but I still do.
I don't know.
I do.
I own it on
free.
iTunes. So
wait, you what?
I own it on iTunes. So
yes.
if you have my iTunes, you can watch it. Ooh. Anyway, it's a really great movie about this guy who he was a park ranger. This guy moves to this small town. I think it's in Alaska. It's way up in the north. It's very secluded. They had a big snowfall, so nothing can happen. And the post office girl is played by the AT&T girl.
Squirrel Girl.
Oh,
Squirrel Girl. Yeah,
Sloane or whatever.
Sure, I don't know her name.
Yeah, well, she plays Sloane on This Is Us.
Okay, I don't watch cry shows. It's amazing how funny this movie is. It's a movie version of the party game Are You a Werewolf?
I don't know that game.
Where everyone closes their eyes, someone quote unquote dies, and the next day you have to figure out you have to figure out. It's like Clue basically, but you have to figure out who the guy is that's killing these people. And if you don't figure it out, you go to sleep the next day, someone else dies.
You have to come back and do this party every day until you figure it out.
I hate you sometimes. No, and but it's a movie version of that. And it doesn't sound very exciting, but it is hilarious. I don't know who wrote it, or I don't know why it didn't do well. I know why it didn't do well because it was the 2020 release. But if you want something really well written, super well acted, the AT&T girl's really good. The main guy, I've seen him before
The black guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him before, too.
You can rent it for $1.99 on Amazon.
You can rent it for $1.99.
Then you can go down the stream with Roman.
Ooh.
For $2.
But that was really
Do
good.
you hear
And then,
banjo music? Not in my room.
and then one that me and Allison just watched on Shudder, Vicious Fun.
Oh, yeah. I forgot what that was even called.
And that's what I said. I'm going to be surprised when we get to 2020 because that movie was very off the wall, very very funny. The funny was overshadowing the horror element of it, and you just said that you don't like that kind of thing. So, how did you feel about Vicious Fun?
Well, before I answer that, do you have access to Shudder?
No, I don't. But I'll probably reestablish for $5.
Yeah, you can get it because you like all these campy movies. That's where you're going to find the majority of them.
Oh, yeah.
On Shudder.
Oh yeah,
sure.
and you need to see Superhost too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, he needs to see it.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
But what I was going to say back is, I don't consider that a comedy horror.
It's not.
Okay.
I was just recommending it to
Yeah,
him.
there's a lot of movies on Shudder that are very good. A lot of their originals this year. One of the most scariest movies I've seen in the last 10 years is a Shudder original.
Host.
Oh God, I love Host
Oh, Host
so much.
is fantastic.
But no, I was talking about that Wicked, The Dark and the Wicked.
Oh, The Dark and the Wicked. That really scared you?
Yeah, that movie stuck with me.
Okay.
It affected me. It didn't give me nightmares, but it was one of those movies like it did with you with Hereditary.
Yes, yeah.
It stuck with me.
Okay.
But going back, Vicious Fun. It was funny. Yeah, no, I liked it. It wasn't too over the top.
I'm just saying it was funnier than it was horror.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's basically this guy who follows his roommate's girl, or his roommate is a girl, and he's in love with his roommate, and he follows her date because it's not really her boyfriend yet. They go on a date, and he's this real skeevy looking dude, so he follows him. This takes place in 1985, by the way, and he follows him to this Chinese restaurant where they end up drinking together. The boyfriend leaves and stiffs him with the bill, so he just drinks and drinks and drinks, and that scene is hilarious where he keeps getting drunk, and he passes out in a broom closet and wakes up after the Chinese restaurant is closed, but they closed because they're having a meeting for it's a support group for serial killers.
Huh.
And that's where they have the stereotypical, each one is one guy is the guy with the mask that haunts, that goes after campers, and he's like 7 feet tall. One guy, you don't find out what he is, but he's very meticulous about everything, and his character changes when he becomes the killer. One guy is a Japanese assassin that can slow his heart rate and wait things out, and it's just really cool. And David Koechner is the host of it all. But a lot of things change. I can't explain much of the movie or it'll spoil it for everyone. A lot of things change as this goes on, but I really enjoyed this movie, and it was really funny. The main character...
it's called Vicious whatever?
Vicious Fun.
Vicious Fun.
The main character is played by Evan Marsh. The only other thing I've ever seen him in was he was the
Simpson Susan Samsonite. Oh, I was way off.
He was one of the two bullies in the movie Shazam that had the car thrown. That's it. But he's really good in this movie. He plays a horror movie critic for a magazine called Vicious Fanatics.
Okay.
And the one director that he's like, you should call it Vicious Fun. It's much more fun. And that's how the movie got its name. But it's really entertaining, and that should catch us up with the timeline because that came out now.
Okay. Well, so
what happens when we skipped over two movies that I think are good on my list, but we haven't gone over? When we get into that year, do we get to?
No, we're on that now.
Yeah,
just do it
now.
Okay.
Now. Then is now.
You forgot Ready or Not, which is one of my favorite horror comedies.
I don't really consider that a comedy.
See, I do because
I see it as a satire, which is a form of comedy. So, yeah. Okay,
I liked that movie.
I retract my statement.
And Villains.
Oh, Villains.
We covered that on previous podcasts.
We have, which is a dark comedy.
Yes.
So those two are.
Yeah, we didn't even get into black comedies.
Which that's a.
You almost made me spit take all over my laptop.
Oh boy.
You almost single-handedly destroyed the podcast.
Judging by the laptop, somebody tells
Let
me
me
it's
try
not
it
the first
again.
time that it's been
Black.
canceled. I thought about that with dark comedies and things like that because I really wanted to keep it into a horror type where there's a massive body count, kind of, sorta, or at least.
Well, there's black comedy horror like Villains.
Yeah, it's just
or that terrible movie we watched, the British one.
Oh, that one.
That was like
I like that one.
That was like Villains.
With
remember?
The guys.
I don't.
The guy the British people who break into the house to steal, and one of them was like their caretaker,
like The Strangers, but not quite.
Yeah, I don't remember. Must have been really bad.
It was.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it.
You don't remember the one dude who was like brainwashed by the old lady?
Yeah, but I don't remember the name of it.
I don't remember it either. Well, it's not worth watching. So.
Yeah. Wow, it sounds riveting.
But I'm saying it was very close to that, and that's also the same vein as a black comedy again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool.
Black.
So that
okay, cool.
So that concludes our tour of horror comedies. Now we're going to take a deeper dive.
Yes.
Which is basically where Allison and I basically play Uno while Adam talks for about 3 hours.
Draw 4.
Not really. I just have a list of things that we've talked about. Most of the things that we've talked about.
Talked about most of the things that we've talked.
We've talked about most of the things that I want to talk about. One of them that we haven't talked about is whether it's the 80s original or the 2000s remake of Fright Night.
Oh,
very, very good horror comedy about a kid who's a horror fanatic. Finds out that his neighbor Jerry is a vampire. Jerry the vampire. And in the original, it was
why do vampires hate vampires? I don't know.
In the original, it was played by Prince Humperdinck.
Yes.
And in the remake, it was played by Colin Farrell.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both fantastic movies.
They are.
And
Colin Farrell was just hotter. I mean, he
and rest in peace, Anton Yelchin. He was amazing in that movie. In fact, I really liked this movie, and it was one of those remakes that was made for 3D. It wasn't a movie that they just put 3D into it. It was made for 3D. In fact, if you saw it in 2D, you would never see the opening logo because it was a 3D logo.
Right.
But what's cool is he teams up with this Elvira type character, this TV horror host named Peter Vincent. Named after Peter Cushing and Vincent Price, played by in the remake it was David. It was holy crap! What's wrong with my brain?
Oh, the remake was
it was the Doctor, David Tennant.
Yeah.
I have the poster somewhere.
You're looking at me for names. Good luck.
David Tennant was in a bunch of
Roddy McDowell.
Oh, I would have never got that.
Roddy McDowell was Peter Vixen.
Roddy McDowell.
Oh, Roddy McDowell.
He's a good boy. So let's go ahead and talk about him in Fright Night.
But it was them against Jerry the vampire.
Jerry.
And what was cool about Jerry was he was a very nice guy, very helpful, very nice to everybody, to prove that he is not a vampire, to make this kid act like he's going crazy.
Right.
And everyone believes the kid's going crazy because he's a horror fanatic, and he's like, my neighbor is a vampire, and they're like, Jerry the vampire.
Jerry, who helped me move in and brings me beer, is a vampire.
Yeah,
and I mean it's a
I
great
knew it.
movie.
You hate garlic,
and it was
no, I actually love garlic.
The original was made by Tom Holland, not Spider-Man. It's the same guy who did Psycho 2.
Underrated film, by the
way. A very good sequel. And the funny thing is the poster of the vampire with the shark teeth, that wasn't supposed to be the poster. The girl with the shark teeth was a last minute addition, and he's like, let's do this and scare the hell out of the people watching this movie, and they ended up using it as the poster and ruined the surprise.
The surprise, yeah.
Yeah. So
that was
Fright Night.
Way to go, Tom Holland.
Way to go there.
That was the studio.
Way to go, Studio Holland.
Staying in the 80s.
I thought that was the name of the next movie.
Staying in the 80s. Staying in the 80s.
I don't know that film.
I want to talk about The Goonies. No. I want to talk about Stand By Me. No, I want to talk about The Monster Squad.
Oh my God, I would have kicked myself again.
Because the 80s was the epitome of kids getting together and having adventures. But this time, this was done with horror elements. Yes. And it was knockoffs of Universal monsters. Mm-hmm. They got away with not naming them so they could use them.
Well, no, Wolf guy, yeah,
Wolfman. It was the creature, not Frankenstein, and it was Gillman.
Well, Dracula, I think they actually
Dracula was Dracula,
but that's not copyright infringement,
right?
Because that's
Bram
public
Stoker.
domain.
Yeah. And
hear that, Disney? Things go to public domain.
Isn't Frankenstein owned by Mary Shelley?
Well, I don't.
The estate.
The estate.
Owned,
I don't know.
But I mean, that's not really Universal's.
Universal's property, yeah.
Well, I think Frankenstein is not public domain.
It's the visuals. It's the visual Frankenstein's monster from Universal. It's the visual Dracula from. But
then how could they use Dracula?
Apparently they were able to.
Oh. But, they were allowed one.
Yeah, I guess so. But they I saw a poll like 10 years ago. It was like, who's the scariest Dracula? And who won? The Dracula from Monster Squad, because he's scary as shit.
Oh, absolutely.
And he grabs this 4-year-old girl by her dress, lifts her up and says, "Give me the medallion, you little bitch."
Yeah.
I mean, you won't see Bela Lugosi doing that. You won't see Gary Oldman doing that.
As a
maybe you'll see Gary Oldman doing that.
4 or 5-year-old kid when
Sorry. Gary Oldman is the scariest vampire for me. Yes. I mean, scariest Dracula.
Absolutely agree. But when I saw the end scene spoiler here, where she's saying goodbye to Frankenstein.
Oh, tears.
Oh, absolutely tears. Absolutely.
Every time.
Don't go Frankenstein.
And my name is Horace. Because they just kept calling him Fat Kid.
Oh, yeah. Well, and of course, that's where you get kick him in the nards. Kick him in the nards.
Wolfman's Got Nards, which is the name of the upcoming documentary on Monster Squad.
I mean, what else would it be?
Well, I mean that film, like we could do a deep dive just where you see the Wolfman going into the police station and he's like, "You gotta lock me up. You don't understand."
That was Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh my God! It was Uncle Rico. I didn't notice him if he's not throwing a steak at somebody.
and Frankenstein's monster was Tom Noonan, who played the killer in Manhunt.
Hello, Noonan.
And he was also Kane in RoboCop 2.
I'll buy that for $1.
That's right. And the Gill Man was played by Tom Woodruff Jr., who is a creature developer who basically wore the alien suit in Aliens and Alien Resurrection.
Huh.
Yeah. So we got some good stuff out of Monster Squad.
Okay, so when they said, get your damn hands off her, you bitch, was that really a line stolen from Monster Squad?
Monster Squad.
Yeah.
Sticking with the 80s, I want to move on to the poster behind me, House. Apparently, none of you have seen this movie.
No, but I hear it's a very, very, very fine house with 2 cats in the corner.
Yeah, House.
2 cats in the corner? That's not how the song goes.
With 2 cats in the corner.
2 cats in the yard.
Life could be so hard. Oh, yeah, whatever. Anyways, please continue.
House was created by Sean Cunningham from Friday the 13th.
I thought it was created by some guy in Fox for a TV show.
Yeah, it was a remake of Sherlock Holmes. No, House was Sean Cunningham, and it's a very horror comedy, but it's got dark themes in it. The main guy is a Vietnam vet who's suffering from PTSD. His son disappears, which causes his wife to leave him, and he moves into his aunt's house where they last saw his son, and all these manifestations start happening. He starts seeing things flying at him. He starts seeing people that he left behind in Vietnam, and all the rooms are they change based on his fears and stuff. It's basically his fear, his PTSD, and his anxiety is manifesting this supernatural attack in this house.
But nobody else can see it when they're in the house?
Well, that's the thing. He lives alone.
I know, but nobody else comes to check on him, or he's not like, hey, look.
Well, and that's where the comedy comes in. Just like Rick Duckerman in The Burbs, which we never talked about.
That's the other one.
He has a funny sidekick neighbor played by George Wendt, Norm from Cheers. And yes, he does see these things happening. Like kitchen things come flying at him, garden tools come flying at him. But all of this is happening because of his mind, his fears. The house is absorbing that and shoving it out at him. And it's a really cool take on how to deal with your mental issues. And if you don't, it could kill you.
So nothing like taking a comedy horror series and talking about PTSD and Vietnam veterans.
But it's a very humorous movie because of George Wendt and because of some of the monsters are kind of goofy.
I'm laughing.
Richard Mall, Bull from Night Court. He plays
Two-Face.
Yes, animated Two-Face.
Yeah, he's great at it actually.
He plays his friend in Vietnam who died, and he comes back to get revenge as a zombie.
Could you imagine if Lieutenant Dan or something like
or
that?
His legs?
Yeah.
I just think of detachable arm guy or detachable arm kid.
TDK.
Yeah. It's like but it's Lieutenant Dan. And he just has his legs.
He just kicks his legs.
Oh my god.
It's like Phantom Limb from the Venture Brothers.
Oh boy. Oh. Yeah, you take that. Yeah.
As the house movies go on, they get really, really dumb and.
There's multiple.
There's 4.
All with the same guy's house?
It's. I think it's the same house. I don't remember. I remember House 2 because it was kind of goofy and it was the first one that I saw and it was. It was kind of the Evil Dead to Evil Dead 2. Okay. It was like House 2 was really silly,
right?
Where House 1 had some humorous stuff in it.
Did they ever do it in like a Spanish tile cottage and call it Mi Casa?
Just call it Casa.
Did they ever take it to space?
Not yet.
House in space.
It's just called Station.
Does it have Avery Brooks?
Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he just, hey, I'm looking for someone to take my house.
That's terrible. Don't do that ever again.
No, yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know what he sounds like, so.
Not like that.
Oh, okay.
Did you like that? Yeah, not like that.
The only Avery...
Basically, Captain Jack Sparrow. Anyways, please.
That was Jeffrey Rush.
That wasn't good.
No.
The only Avery...
We named the Monkey Jack.
The only Avery Brooks thing I ever quote was when he was the principal in American History X, where he's talking about the book report, and he's like, "Oh, I did the work," and he's like, "On Mein Kampf."
Is that how he talks?
He yelled at him at that point.
He has a very unique voice.
Avery Brooks is amazing.
He was great in the movie with King Kong Lives and Donnie Wahlberg. It's a great action comedy.
King Kong Lives with Donnie Wahlberg?
Mark Wahlberg, excuse me.
I was like, Donnie Wahlberg.
Oh, heavens. Oh, geez, I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night screaming this. I'm like, that's the movie.
Or you could just look up Avery Brooks while I'm talking.
Hold on, stand by.
We're not going to stand by. Keep going.
All right,
this is really good podcast here, people.
Staying in the 80s, a very important movie we never brought up. I mean, this is important for horror. Was Return of the Living Dead.
Yes. And it had a good remake that was made, Narcolepsville or Narcoville. It was kind of more 2014. It was actually on Comet.
Narcoville?
Yeah.
Okay, we're not talking about that.
No? Okay. It's similar. It's similar quality.
Return of the Living Dead was written by Dan O'Bannon, who wrote and created the Alien movie. He also wrote the first screenplay for Total Recall.
Total Recall.
The Big Hit. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
The Big Hit. I kept hearing The Big Kid.
Yeah, The Big Kid.
That was like Mark Wahlberg's first big movie too.
No, Renaissance Man was.
I said big movie.
Renaissance Man was a big movie despite the stature of the lead actor. Yeah.
Okay, that was his first big, like, I'm Mark Wahlberg movie.
Yeah.
He was just in it.
Good vibrations. Please continue.
Dan O'Bannon wrote this movie, and he wrote everything about this movie, which is amazing because Return of the Living Dead is a satire of the entire George Romero universe. But it also exists within and outside of it. It's weird because, like, the zombies happened, but they talk about Night of the Living Dead like it was a movie. And when the zombies come out, they created two mainstays of what zombies are today. Mm-hmm. One, the running zombies were created in this, mainly because they wanted something terrifying and fun, because it was a fun rock and roll movie.
Yes.
Second, it is the very first time that zombies were known to eat brains.
Is that what they wanted the whole time?
You couldn't tell?
No, I wish they could, like, come out and say it. Yeah.
And it was so funny because Dan O'Bannon talks about it. He's like, yeah, I know it's such a big thing now, but it's just, we thought it was a silly idea to have them want to eat brains. It was just like, we'll never go along with that.
Who would have ever thought that Indiana Jones in Temple Doom was a trendsetter?
That was chilled monkey's brains.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
Brains are brains.
Please brains is brains. Yeah, and the movie was just great. One of my favorite bits is when the horde of zombies take out an entire group of EMTs, and one of the zombies gets on the radio in the ambulance. He's like, "Send more cops," because they just want to eat more. But it's also a very dark, horrific movie. There's some really horror elements on it. There's the half dog. I love the half dog. I want one on my wall because it's on a plaque. And the one scene where they strap down this
would it be a half breed?
It would be. They strap down this zombie woman, and it's just her head and her vertebrae.
Oh, okay. Thank you for going that route.
And it's kind of like swerving and twitching while she talks, and there's a really it's a really disturbing scene because they finally have a zombie and they're like asking her questions, and they ask her, why do you need brains? And she's like, to stop the pain. And apparently eating brains, stops the pain of them being dead and dying and hurting all the time. And it's a disturbing scene, and
like hunger pains, like when I need to eat to make my tummy not hurt.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a great movie, and again, it's timeless. Yes, it's 80s, but right. It's something that you can still watch and still enjoy.
Ed and His Dead Mother is another one.
Yep, I have that listed on there too. Ed and His Dead Mother with Steve Buscemi.
No.
Why are you looking at me?
Once Bitten is another one.
Oh, I've seen Once Bitten.
I did not like Once Bitten.
It
was Jim Carrey before Jim Carrey found out he was Jim Carrey.
Once Bitten, Twice Shy.
When he was basically a stereotypical actor.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at this, it's just not. It's
My
not
Best Friend is a Vampire. I love that movie. Yeah. It's a dumb movie, but it's got David Warner in it, and if you know anything from my Tron thing, you know how much I love David Warner. Not as much as Box Lightner.
Box Lightner. A yurt. Let's just go ahead and...
We're going to get back into Leesburger.
Exactly.
Society. One of Roman's favorite movies.
Oh, man.
It's a satire. It's not comedy, quote unquote, but it is a satire on society, on high society. But it's got the butthead joke in it.
Yeah, but I didn't count that in terms of, because to me it has a funny aspect and kind of like a punchline, if you will, at the end with the crescendo, but it's not, in my opinion, it's not a continued comedy. Like I would consider Wax House.
Waxwork, yes.
Waxwork.
Yes, with Zach Galligan.
Yeah. That would be more of a comedy horror-y, if you will, because there are some funny aspects to it.
And that movie got ripped to shreds during the making of it because it ran out of money. The studio...
It was so interesting.
The studio didn't like it, and they wanted to do so many more properties, and they couldn't afford it. They wanted to have like an Alien thing. They wanted to have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing. You know, I mean, the story is this House of Wax opens up, and
are you familiar with them, Allison?
House of Wax?
Yes.
You keep saying waxwork.
Yeah, the movie's called Waxwork, but this House of Wax opens up.
Oh no, I'm only familiar with House of Wax.
Oh, where Paris Hilton gets it.
Yeah.
Well, there's two House of Waxes.
And it's run by none other than David Warner from Tron. And they have these really, really expressive dioramas of horror scenes, classic horror scenes. And it turns out that if you cross over the velvet rope, you enter these scenes like they're real things. And if you die, you end up as a dead wax figure inside the diorama. And the very end culminates to everything coming back alive. And it's very cool. It's a very cool, underrated movie where Zach Galligan, you realize he can't really act that well.
No. Gilbert Gottfried introduced me that in Up All Night. Yeah. I was like,
do you like movies about wax?
And here's the Marquis de Sade.
Oh my God.
Which, by the way, that's actually one of the more cooler and hot scenes. Marquis de Sade, because you have this...
Or the Marquis.
Him too. Where you have this virgin girl who's self-appointed virgin, and he basically has
I'm the virgin.
Well, no, he has a euphemism. Marquis de Sade has a euphemism talking about how basically he made her climax for the first time, and she's never virgin, and how that's an amazing feat,
like a Madonna song.
Yeah, yeah. It was just absolutely stunning in the way it was portrayed. And there's a great scene in that film where you see a leg being filleted. And cut up.
A leg being filleted?
A leg.
Oh, a leg.
Yes, a leg.
This movie doesn't sound funny to me. I mean, I guess there's some comedic performances in it.
The group of kids and stuff, they make it kind of funny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kids. They're adults, but like Zach Galligan and his friends without Gizmo.
Oh. Anyways, so
speaking of Zach Galligan, don't watch Bad Candy.
That's not a horror comedy.
No, they tried to be though.
They tried to be like Trick or Treat.
It did.
Okay.
That's a movie that just came out with Zach Galligan and Corey Taylor.
Okay.
So, Waxwork.
I covered. I
covered
my parts that I wanted to cover, and you told me that there would be a cake, and
there wasn't any cake,
and I'm going to let
and I didn't get any cake.
I'm going to do it, and I haven't seen my stapler, and I'm still waiting for my paycheck.
And I was watching the squirrels, and then they were married.
Yep.
You know, I went and saw that movie like 10 times in the theater.
Really?
You?
Yeah, me.
I saw it the first time, didn't like it until about 10 years later when I actually got a real job.
I was the same way.
I was a big Mike Judge fan.
I didn't get it.
I worked at an office during that time. So.
That's you were who that movie was for.
Yeah.
That's why.
Until I worked at an office did I finally get the jokes.
Agreed.
And which is funny because it was made by Mike Judge, and I didn't realize until maybe into my late 20s and early 30s that the main cast was basically the main cast in King of the Hill. Because Dave Herman was in most of it. Milton, he was Bill.
Yeah.
Mike Judge was Hank. But anyway, Dead Heat. Anyone see Dead Heat?
I'm just thinking.
Isn't that Nicole Kidman?
No, that's Dead Calm.
Ah.
Dead Heat is a cop movie with Joe Piscopo and Treat Williams.
I think Gilbert Gottfried introduced me to that one too.
Probably because it's very wacky.
And this one's Dead Heat.
Do you like Dead Heat? Remember when Joe Piscopo didn't have any muscles at all? This was right when he was starting to like bodybuild, right after he got off of SNL. It's two cops. They're homicide cops, and they're doing their jobs. And this is a world where science has discovered a way to reanimate dead people. And in one instance, Treat Williams dies, and they reanimate him. And they find out that the reanimated people, they start deteriorating, and that's the horror element of it, because they start having to deal with these zombie people and the deterioration of his friend, and it's a full-on action comedy with a horror element to it. That's basically it.
So it's an action comedy?
It's an action comedy horror movie.
Ooh, that's another subgenre.
One of my absolute favorite horror comedies is the Reanimator.
Yeah.
Yes.
Taken from an H.P. Lovecraft story. Stuart Gordon loved, rest in peace, Stuart Gordon, loved to direct his own versions of Lovecraft stories, but the way Jeffrey Combs plays the main character, he just absolutely blows him away with his comedic timing and his arrogance and everything. It's just such a funny moment, and you have the head almost giving head scene where the reanimated head of that's been decapitated tries to go down on Barbara Crampton as she's strapped to a table helpless. It doesn't go that far, but it gets really damn close. That's what the movie's known for.
Have you seen that movie?
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay.
I watch it all the time.
It sounds like you only watched one part, buddy. Not going to lie.
I'm just saying that's what it's known for.
Yeah. Just like Showgirls is only known for, never mind.
Yeah, for the pool scene.
For the pool scene.
You mean there's more?
No, there's not. There's the Versace.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, that was really riveting as well, like the last episode. We're going to go ahead and put the curtain on this one, as we will have our conclusion next week as we finish our continued topics and conversations on horror comedies.
Horrorities.
So stay tuned. Follow us on our social media to make sure you know when the next episode comes out. Go to cinemadnesspodcast.com, and you can find all of our information that way. You can even find this show there. So, bye.